I thought it would be interesting to talk about Brexit because on many occasions when I'm in different places around the world, and certainly here at USC and certainly talking to Jack, there's a lot of discussion about what's going on, what's taking place. People aren't at all clear. Referendum took place on the 23rd of June 2016. It was an unexpected result. Everybody expected the vote to be to stay in the European Union. And after a rather desultory process, Theresa May became the new British Prime Minister. But she made a number of core strategic errors. Number one, to take the overall strategy she did. Number two, to send the letter before she decided what she was going to do. Number three, to call the general election, then of course to lose it. But the EU then responded to the Article 50 letter about a month after it was sent, the 29th of April 2017. And it had a number of things that it said that it was going to seek agreement on. So what happened to Theresa May's leadership after that general election? It culminated in 3 parliamentary defeats at the beginning of this year. The final moment of leaving, 31st of March 2019, was extended by agreement to 31st October. There was then a Conservative leadership election, and on the 24th of July, she resigned as Prime Minister. Arrive Boris Johnson, 24th of July. No resolution to the situation, accelerated decline. We're going to leave the European Union, do or die, he said on 31st of October. Boris Johnson said, I don't care, I'm going to go for no deal in the belief that I can bully the European Union to agree some deal of some kind. They passed a bill now called the Ben Bill, and the purpose of the Ben Bill was to say under no circumstances can we leave with no deal. And it required that if there had not been a deal or agreement by the 19th of October, that's next week, that would be the final date, and then they would require the Prime Minister to ask for a further extension from the EU. That doesn't mean that if the British government makes that request, that the EU would agree it. 31st, as I say, is the day that we're currently scheduled to leave the EU. The new Ben Bill deadline is 31st of January, but there's a big degree of uncertainty about this. What are the current options? Deal, no deal, general election, referendum. There's still talk today about the possibility of a deal. I think the chance of it is very, very low. Next possibility, a general election to change that arithmetic that I described earlier on. Boris Johnson wanted to call a general election. All those opposition parties were frightened it was a stunt to get rid of this parliament completely before 31st of October. So they said, we will vote for a general election, but only after the deadline has been extended. And the fourth option is a referendum. Do we do a rerun of the referendum of 2016? I think the most likely outcome is that we'll have a general election and all the opposition parties will have a manifesto commitment to holding a referendum, and they will get enough in the next parliament so there'll then be a referendum after the general election that will go down the process. If there is a referendum, who will win? Opinion has not moved very substantially towards Remain despite all this stuff, and there's a lot of worry that the election, that if we have a referendum, that actually it wouldn't change anything at the end of the day. My personal view is it will be extended past October 31st. So my expectation is there'll be a general election, still a hung parliament, but with a majority in the hung parliament for another referendum to be held. So I then think there will be another referendum. My optimistic outcome is that the referendum will say stay in the European Union. I think that probably is the case actually.